Welcome back, everyone, here on Sports Den, our second episode of 2022. And this week, we welcome back Bill Hupp alongside me, Blythe Whaley. And Bill, we're glad you're back. 2022, do you feel any different? New year.
New year, new you, new me, new everyone, hopefully. Yeah, no, I feel very different. Feel optimistic, and it's hard to believe that we're only a couple weeks away from playoff time, from section time starting. I mean, teams are halfway through the season or more, and pretty crazy how the seasons fly by, and the episodes of Sports Den, how they fly by too.
Yeah, and did you have any, those New Year's resolutions? Are they still strong this far into the month?
Yeah, so far so good. Couple weeks in, still going strong, but there's a lot of year left, so we'll see.
Yeah, we'll check back in a few months.
Yeah, a couple months. I'll let you know.
But you've been out and about with some of the games that we'll have to show you here coming up, Bill, but so have I, and our team's kicking off the new year right.
Yeah, no question. It's been very busy with hockey and wrestling and obviously basketball, and some really, really promising starts for some of the area teams.
Well, we'll kick it off on the basketball court today with our first highlight. Coming at you, Centennial traveling to Blaine High School to take on the Blaine Bengals. This cat clash starting it out. Terry plays it up to Lafreniere, who just bulldozes her way to the hoop, putting them up here early. Now Cummings giving it up to Pullman, who finds her way to the hoop, kissing it off the glass there. And now Terry kicking it to Schloman, lines up, fires, bang! Schloman gets it to swish in from three. This time Frost, he's just gonna take it all the way, coast to coast, finding her way and getting the and one to seal the deal. But now as we head into the second half, Centennial with the lead, Mulberry kicking to Frost, who dishes it out wide, and that spot is still on this time now for Centennial. It's Autumn McCall who puts it down. But miss pass there, Lafreniere gonna find herself that bucket to help them try to get back into this game as they look to claw back. But now, this time Tharp gonna find that easy bunny underneath to help Centennial push their lead further. But now through the lane, McCall, the freshman, the leading scorer of that game, 16 points, helps Centennial get the victory, 61-56. Good to see it. She was the leading scorer for Centennial. Allison Terry, 15 points. Had a lot of girls getting some high numbers, but ultimately our Cougars finding that victory at the end of it. Centennial now on a 3-game winning streak. Blaine now has lost the last 3 of the 4 games. But that's what's so interesting. Coming into this game, the Blaine Bengals were 5-0. And now, having lost a couple, Centennial didn't have that record like they wanted earlier on in the season. But now, having this win streak coming right when they needed it here.
Yeah, so it's a season of ups and downs for sure as we take a look at the girls basketball standings, and Centennial and Blaine actually find themselves tied now at 5-2 in conference play. As you see, Blaine still a really impressive overall record with 10-3. Spring Lake Park, middle of the pack in the Northwest Suburban Conference, with a record of 4-3 in conference play themselves, all chasing Maple Grove up top with an unbeaten 6-0 record.
Take a look at the schedules. Again, we see Blaine starting the year out on a little rough patch. They'll try to come back against Maple Grove on the road. That next game, Coon Rapids also on the road before coming back to home. Centennial, they have that win streak, hoping to keep it going versus Park Center on the 18th and the 21st, taking on Maple Grove. Spring Lake Park have a couple wins here and going to try to string it together versus Eden Prairie on the 17th and at Rogers on the 18th.
Tough upcoming schedule for the Panthers, to be sure.
But you guys, it wasn't just ladies who got to play.
No, their boys' cat clash happened as well as Centennial was playing Blaine at Blaine. Blaine visited Centennial in boys action. We had it right here for you on North Metro TV as the Cougars hosting Blaine in a cat clash, searching for their first Northwest Suburban Conference win and trying to make it 3 wins in 4 games. Callan Tinson Jenkins pushes the ball ahead in transition to A.J. Call, who gives Blaine the early lead, drilling a 3-pointer from the left corner. Senior Jake Ball came in off the bench and balled out. Here he calls glass and hits the tough fadeaway jumper in the lane to put the Cougars up 5. Later in the half, it's Tinson Jenkins whipping a pass to call for another trifecta to put the Bengals back on top. He led the Bengals with 16. Taden Johnson taking it coast to coast for the deuce. Second half, more ball. Cougars move the rock and Ball stops and pops from the elbow. Tinson Jenkins adds to Blaine's lead with this soft fadeaway. He had 13 in the second half. But Luke Clark was the story for Centennial. He pours in 19 points in the second half, finishing with a game-high 23. Reese Newdahl here treating the Blaine defense like a Tesla, taking them for a spin to stretch Centennial's lead back to 6. And the Cougars wouldn't give that lead up. They pull the upset at home, 70-60. As you see there, Tinson Jenkins and Call, the only scorers in double figures for Blaine. Luke Clark, 23, 19 in the second half, and Jake Ball, 17 off the bench for Centennial. Cougars won 3 of 4, and they're really hot after struggling to start the season. They've kind of found something with their senior guards. It's been pretty impressive to see.
Yeah, and it's neat, you know, those two of our teams getting to already match up against each other this year, but now Spring Lake Park, they had to go and play on the road, taking on Coon Rapids at Coon Rapids. But these guys ready to play this year. But this first one, we're gonna get to see Anthony kick it out wide to Peyton Thompson. And for 3, this one, added emphasis here on the slow-mo into the basket splash. He gets it to fall. But now Peyton Thompson, double team, stripped away. Cummings Coleman finding the transition bucket, helping Coon Rapids. But Coon Rapids with it here again, and Matthew Ellenson finding his way to the hoop. Again, that give and go always works. But this time, Kinsey setting up the wire transfer for 3. He finds it. But Coon Rapids continuing to put it down with emphasis. This is Matthew Dang with the and one. That wild pass comes in. But now Peyton Thompson with the dunk to finish it with authority. As Coon Rapids has that lead. This one goes down for MJ Gallman. And also, of course, he got that and one. But Elijah Smith sealing the deal, that long-range 3. Get to see that one again. Swoosh, splash, and Coon Rapids winning 76-67. But you have to see Kinsey, 29 points, 18 rebounds. And Peyton Thompson, of course, also in that 20 margin. So 23 points for him, 3 steals. Those big, huge points coming from a couple of players. But for Coon Rapids, 18 points for Elijah Smith, 3 assists. And of course, they got the victory, and they didn't need a couple players to be in that 20 mark. They just had a few players, 4 players in double digits there.
Yeah, Panthers 1-6 and starting the season 4-0, and we saw them roll over Blaine in a cat clash earlier this season, but their schedule's gotten tougher and their defense has loosened up a little bit, and they've been struggling. And they had another tough opponent this week in the Osseo Orioles, which we also broadcast for you on this station on North Metro TV. But ultimately, they're facing a tougher part of the schedule, and they're in a really tough section to begin with.
I know, sometimes you just have to prep for it and get ready to go.
Speaking of the Osseo Spring Lake Park game, playing host to the Section 5 rival Orioles in a big game for section seeding. Orioles get it going early, little pick and roll action with Tyrese Waits feeding big Blessed Bariga for the layup. Then Bernard Omorie, a little hesitation pull up, the lost start of the mid-range game. Peyton Thompson did his best to keep the Panthers in it, attacking the rim here for the hoop and the harm. But Nate Vincent finishes the sweet scoop shot off the nice dish and draws contact. SLP decides to go downtown to try to come back. Logan Kinsey hitting the triple. And then Thompson draining it from distance. He got 6 for 10 in this game from beyond the arc. Orioles were able to attack off the dribble all night as Waits demonstrates here. Second half, Isaiah Johnson Euro stepping his way to 2 of his team-high 20 points on the night. Kinsey and Thompson continue to battle in the second half. Thompson would finish with a season-high 31, and Kinsey chipped in with 17. They ended up scoring 48 of the Panthers' 58 points for the game. But you get caught ball watching against this Osseo team, and they will make you pay. Waits to Johnson for the reverse. Panthers fall at home in a tough one to the Orioles by a final of 70-58. And like we said, Spring Lake Park now 1-6 in their last 7 games. Still above Blaine and Centennial in conference play, but it's a stacked conference with Park Center and Totino Grace and Maple Grove up top. Even Champlain Park, the traditional powerhouse that they are, is below 500.
Yeah, and now we'll look at their schedules. Blaine Bengals on that losing skid right now. They'll try to come back. Maple Grove on the 18th, Coon Rapids on the 21st. Centennial a win, now a loss there at Andover. So Park Center, that game to try to come back, and Maple Grove on the 21st. Spring Lake Park, gonna need to start ramping it up, trying to get a win here versus Rogers on the 18th after a 3-game losing streak there. And they'll have they'll have Rogers and then Elk River on the 21st.
So some tough games coming up. We'll have that Rogers game for you tomorrow night here on North Metro TV. A lot of good boys hoops action coming up, but a lot of things happening in boys hockey as well.
Yeah, we get a little bit cooler and iced off as we head to the ice rink, where our Spring Lake Park Panthers had a cat clash with the Centennial Cougars.
They sure did. Spring Lake Park visiting Centennial. Blake, why don't you tell us about it?
Yeah, here we go. This is our Spring Lake Park Panthers. They're at Centennial. Oberg has a mishit off his stick there, and Harper Searles is there to put in the 3rd goal of the game. SLP down by 5, and this time it's Lewick to put the Panthers on the board. Now we're in that second period, seconds off the clock, and Brock Carl finding the netting to keep the Centennial force going right away. Kate Anderson spinning all the way around. Brody pass finding the back of the net. The Cougars on a roll in this game. Owen Van Tassel, keep your eyes on him as he gets this past Bergdahl. The Cougars are not stopping. SLP is going to get the steal here. Blake Lewick playing it up to Connor Larson to put that one in for the Panthers. Now they have 2 on the board, but this last one comes from Cade Anderson as he finesses it in. The Cougars win it 17-2 at home. Blake Lewick got an assist and a goal in that game, but look at Bergdahl, 44 saves. He's had such a tremendous amount of saves throughout the season so far. He gets a lot of action on him, but 3 straight losses for SLP, so they're hoping to get on the flip side of that. But Centennial Cougars, you get to see the 5 goals coming from Owen Van Tassel. Kate Anderson also having a good margin, 4 goals, and Brody Pass, 5 assists. But Centennial off to the races, 6 consecutive wins this season, so you can tell why they weren't about to take their foot off the gas in that game.
Yeah, certainly trying to justify that top 10 ranking in Class 2A, as you see here. Andover number 1, Centennial playing Andover this week in what should be a really good game. Conference rival Maple Grove also in the top 10 rankings, but really just shows you the power of the north suburbs when it comes to hockey, boys hockey. It's really, really strong, and Centennial will be tested. Couple games coming up against Andover in the near future, and a couple cat clashes still to go against Blaine.
Yeah, we are excited for those cat clashes coming up. We saw those records here by our Bengals, and they're doing quite well in boys hockey, and so it'll be a pretty big game when Centennial and the Bengals take on each other. I think it's the 27th, so that cat clash, we'll be covering it, so look forward to that one.
Yeah,
I know I am.
Yeah, no, it'll be a good one for sure. And Blaine visited Spring Lake Park the other night in a game that you did on Saturday night, if you can call it visiting, when they both share Fogarty Arena as a home base. A big NWSC boys hockey battle between two of our teams, and in the first period, Panthers netminder Dewey Bergdahl turns away an early opportunity, one of his 48 saves on the night. A few minutes later, though, Blaine picks up a greasy goal as the Steffen brothers combine. Luke to Landon for the 1-0 lead. Blaine in the familiar blue. A few minutes later, minute 32 into the second, Joe Penner snaps a wicked wrister past Bergdahl to make it 2-0 Bengals. Midway through the period, Caden Parrott takes SLP to school with a shot through traffic from the high slot, makes it into the net to make it 3-0. Then late second period, Finn Loftus finds that center point energy to put the Bengals comfortably in command heading to the second intermission break. Bengals would add one more for good measure in the third period. Luke Steffen tapping home a juicy rebound on the doorstep. Bengals score in all three periods, and goalie Ryan Wallen stops all 13 shots he sees to pitch his first shutout of the season, 5-0.
I loved the Landon brothers, or the Steffen brothers, excuse me, having the first goal connection and the last goal of the game connection.
A lot of synchronicity there, yeah. As you see our Northwest Suburban hockey standings, Blaine just behind top-ranked Andover, Centennial in fourth, though. So that sets up, as you said, on the 27th, Blythe, what should be a really tasty cat clash. Spring Lake Park, meanwhile, in the middle of the pack of the conference, which just goes to show you how deep this conference is.
But wow, we had some awesome cat clashes on tap for you today, but just so much to look forward to in January still. We still have a good amount of games coming up.
Yeah, absolutely. We got some girls hockey action coming up for you as Andover visits Centennial and Spring Lake Park. And a lot of big-time boys games coming up late in the regular season as these teams start to gear up and position themselves for section seeding.
Yeah. And also, if you're trying to look out for us, trying to find those schedules, make sure you're going to our website. That's a good place to find everything that's coming up if you forget. Otherwise, of course, check back on Sports Den. We'll make sure you're informed on those upcoming games.
Yes, and we will be the Sports Den duo for the foreseeable future here on North Metro TV. But in the meantime, that's a wrap for episode 16. Visit our website and our YouTube channel to learn more. Until next time, she's Blythe. I'm Bill. Good night.